65 or older and you still do this one simple thing without any help, you might be on the fast track to celebrating a triple-digit birthday. Maybe you've already noticed how many of your friends or neighbors have started relying on others for daily tasks, getting groceries, climbing the stairs, or even just tidying up the living room. Meanwhile, you're still doing it on your own, almost without thinking. You might think it's just part of your routine, something you've done for decades. But according to growing scientific research, maintaining this level of independence could be one of the strongest predictors that you'll not only live longer, but also stay healthier and more active, all the way up to 100 and beyond. Think about it. Each day, our bodies perform countless tiny miracles. Our hearts keep pumping, our muscles and joints coordinate so we can walk, bend, lift, or carry out small chores here and there. Yet as we get older, these everyday acts start to become more precious. We know that many seniors face challenges with mobility, balance, or energy, and need help for the things they once did effortlessly. So if you're still managing on your own, even with small tasks that most people take for granted, this could be your hidden superpower. Don't believe it? Studies repeatedly show that older adults who preserve certain key functional abilities are the same people who report better cardiovascular health, stronger bones, and even sharper mental clarity. They're also the ones more likely to rate their overall life satisfaction as excellent. It's not a coincidence. Our bodies have a remarkable way of adapting to the demands we place on them. If you consistently challenge yourself with small daily activities, like preparing a homemade meal instead of ordering takeout, or choosing to walk to the mailbox rather than asking someone else, you're sending signals to your brain and muscles that say, I'm still in the game. Of course, there are countless factors that determine how long we live. Genetics, diet, access to healthcare, and a dash of luck all play a part. But here's the exciting part of this research. While you can't control your genes, you can absolutely influence how much you move, how frequently you tackle tasks alone, and how you nurture your independence. Every moment you decide to stay active and engaged is another step toward extended vitality. And it's not just about surviving to a certain age, it's about thriving with the energy to do the things you love. In this video, we're going to dive deep into why performing specific tasks on your own after 65 is such a powerful indicator of longevity. We'll explore the science behind it, revealing how your muscles, bones, and even your cognitive functions all benefit from sticking to these routines. You'll also learn about the subtle signs that show whether you're on track or if it might be time to adjust your habits to protect your long-term well-being. Make sure you stick with us until the end, because we'll be sharing practical tips and strategies that can help you keep going strong, even if you're starting to feel a few extra aches and pains. No matter where you are on your journey, whether you're already in excellent shape or you've noticed some signs of slowing down, this is valuable information you can put to use right away. If you're 65, 75, or even 85, you have the power to extend both the length and quality of your life. And if you know someone else in this stage of life, you'll be able to share these insights to encourage and inspire them as well. Living to 100 isn't just a dream for the lucky few. It's increasingly becoming an achievable milestone for those who understand the body's signals and refuse to give up on staying independent. So let's jump in, unravel the science, and discover exactly why doing this one simple thing by yourself is a game changer for longevity. By the time we're done, you'll have a whole new perspective on what it means to grow older without losing your sense of self-sufficiency. And you might just be inspired to tweak a few of your own routines to make that centenarian celebration a reality. Now, before we get into the step-by-step reasons and practical tips, let's take a moment to outline what you can expect from the rest of this video. We'll be breaking down our discussion into a clear roadmap, so you know exactly where we're headed and why every piece of information matters to your life after 65. We'll start by looking at the big picture. You'll learn how maintaining certain daily tasks on your own fits into the broader idea of healthy aging. We'll highlight why doctors and scientists are paying so much attention to these small markers of independence. From there, we'll explore specific activities, some you might be doing already, others you might not have considered, and explain how each one helps support different parts of your body. If you're curious about exactly what your heart, brain, muscles, and bones need to stay robust, stick around, because we're going to connect all those dots. Once we've established the scientific underpinnings, we'll shift gears and dive into real-life stories and examples. It's one thing to hear the data, it's another to see it in action, especially through the lens of everyday people who have successfully prolonged their healthy years. Hearing about actual seniors who continue to tackle chores, practice simple exercise routines, or even pick up new hobbies can be incredibly motivating. Plus, we'll discuss some of the most common pitfalls, like what happens when you become too reliant on help from family members or neighbors for tasks you could do yourself. After examining these real-life scenarios, we'll talk strategy. Knowledge is wonderful, but it only becomes powerful when you use it. We'll share tips to help you safely incorporate more independent activities into your life, even if you're currently dealing with arthritis, minor mobility issues, or general fatigue. This might include advice on gradual strength-building exercises, ways to structure your day so you don't feel overwhelmed, and how to talk to your loved ones about supporting your desire for self-reliance instead of automatically stepping in. Finally, we'll wrap up with a concise yet impactful conclusion that synthesizes everything you've learned. By that point, you'll see how something as simple as continuing to do a routine task by yourself is actually deeply connected to your long-term vitality. You'll have the tools and inspiration you need to take confident steps toward a richer, longer life, and you'll walk away feeling empowered to make decisions that keep you in the driver's seat of your own aging process. In this next portion, we're going to get specific about exactly why continuing to handle certain daily tasks on your own has such a massive impact on your life expectancy. And we'll start by zooming in on the concept of physical independence. If you've ever caught yourself thinking, "But I only do a few small chores here and there," you might not realize just how significant these actions really are. At age 65 or beyond, each time you choose to move, lift, reach, or bend without asking someone else to do it for you, you're essentially giving your body a gentle workout session. Researchers have found that these natural, purposeful movements stimulate not only your muscles, but also your cardiovascular system, joints, and neurological pathways, all of which are crucial for staying strong and alert as the years go by. Imagine a simple scenario. You're in your kitchen cooking a modest meal. You open the refrigerator, grab some vegetables, wash them, chop them, and then set the pot on the stove. None of these steps feel like a trip to the gym, but on a microscopic level, your body is responding to dozens of little challenges. Your arms are lifting groceries, your legs are supporting your frame, your core muscles are engaging when you reach for a high cabinet. These cumulative demands keep your heart pumping steadily and your joints lubricated. They also prompt your nervous system to remain sharp, as it has to coordinate balance and motion. Studies indicate that people who continue performing these motions late into life often maintain better motor control and muscle strength than those who outsource everything to a family member or a caregiver. It might feel like a small everyday routine, but from a physiological perspective, it's an invaluable form of training. One of the key aspects of this training relates to bone density. As you grow older, your bones naturally start to lose some mass, making them more susceptible to fractures if you slip or fall. But when you regularly engage in activities that require you to support your own body weight, like standing up from a chair without assistance or carrying a small basket of laundry, your bones receive signals to rebuild and remain strong. It's similar to how weightlifting helps a younger athlete build more resilient bones, only on a more moderate scale. Many older individuals experience a loss of independence simply because their skeletal structure has weakened to the point where even gentle impacts can cause breaks. By continuing to do as many tasks as you can handle safely, you're reinforcing the structural integrity of your body. Over time, this can spell the difference between a mild stumble and a devastating hip fracture. Another angle to this discussion is the role of circulation. When you move around on your own, even for routine tasks like watering the plants or walking to a nearby mailbox, you're helping your blood flow more efficiently. Better circulation promotes healthier arteries and veins, ensuring that all your organs receive adequate oxygen and nutrients. It also reduces the buildup of plaque in the arteries, which is a known risk factor for heart disease and stroke. Many seniors who remain active through these small efforts exhibit improved cardiovascular markers. They might maintain healthier blood pressure, better cholesterol levels, and a generally more robust heart function compared to peers who've become mostly sedentary. The body responds to even low-level activity by adapting in a positive way, which can translate to fewer hospital visits, fewer prescription medications, and more energy to enjoy life's simple pleasures. Physical independence is also closely tied to flexibility and range of motion. As you reach for items on high shelves or bend down to pick something up, you keep your joints from stiffening. This is critical because stiff joints can set off a chain reaction of decreased mobility, which then leads to a greater reliance on external help. Once you stop doing these basic actions, you lose some of that flexibility at an accelerated rate. Doctors often see patients who used to manage on their own, but after a period of inactivity, perhaps due to illness or an overly protective living arrangement, find it significantly harder to get back to the same level of function they enjoyed before. Like so many things related to aging, use it or lose it is a very real principle. And the more you maintain your physical freedom, the better your odds of preserving it long term. Then there's balance, something people don't often think about until they notice they're having trouble staying steady on their feet. Balance isn't just about not falling. It's a complex interaction between your visual system, the inner ear, and your musculoskeletal strength. Whenever you walk around the house, stand on tiptoe to dust a shelf, or even carry a small laundry basket from one room to another, you challenge your body to stabilize itself. This ongoing challenge trains the reflexes that help prevent serious accidents. Seniors who remain engaged in day-to-day household tasks tend to score better on balance tests, which in turn correlates with a lower risk of falls. Reducing the risk of falls is huge because a single bad fall can lead to prolonged hospital stays, rehabilitation, and a sudden shift toward dependency. Of course, none of this is to say you should push yourself to the point of pain or risk. The trick is to walk the line between doing enough to stay active and knowing when to ask for help if something is truly beyond your comfort zone. If you find your knees protesting a little when you climb the stairs, that might be a prompt to slow your pace or do simple knee strengthening exercises, rather than an immediate signal to install a stair lift. It might also be your body's way of saying it needs more consistent movement. The bottom line is that every time you decide to remain as self-sufficient as possible, you reinforce a pattern of healthy aging that supports longevity. Sometimes, friends or family members will encourage you to take it easy for fear that you'll strain yourself. They mean well, and certainly there's wisdom in pacing yourself. But there's also a potential pitfall in being overly cautious. If you accept help too frequently, you run the risk of losing the edge that keeps your muscles and cardiovascular system conditioned. That's why experts in geriatric health often advise older adults to strike a balance, stay as active and independent as possible while remaining mindful of your body's signals. Instead of thinking, "Oh, I'm getting old, I shouldn't do that anymore," try reframing it to, "How can I keep doing the tasks I enjoy in a safe way?" This mindset empowers you to solve problems rather than avoid them, which can help stave off that slide into frailty. The psychological benefits of physical independence are just as important as the physical ones. There's a sense of accomplishment and dignity that comes from knowing you can still do things on your own. It keeps your mind engaged, offers you routine, and provides small doses of purpose each day. Researchers point out that seniors who maintain higher levels of daily activity also report lower levels of depression and anxiety. It's difficult to overstate how crucial mental well-being is if you aim to reach 100 with a sense of fulfillment. Movement and independence spark a positive feedback loop. You move more, you feel better, which motivates you to keep moving. Conversely, if you move less, your body weakens, you feel down, and the cycle continues in the wrong direction. Even if you've slowed down recently, it's never too late to reclaim some of this autonomy. A good starting point is to pick 1 or 2 tasks you've been delegating to others, like folding the laundry or bringing the trash out, and see if you can safely manage them again. Start small, gauge your comfort level, and gradually build up. You might discover that with a bit of gentle stretching or by using certain adaptive tools, you can still perform these tasks without hurting yourself. Over time, you'll likely notice incremental improvements in strength and balance, which can then translate to even more tasks you feel comfortable taking on. Each success feeds your confidence, and that confidence in turn helps you keep going when faced with other physical challenges. If you're already deeply engaged in these activities, that's fantastic. Keep a watchful eye on how you're feeling day to day. If you start noticing unusual levels of fatigue or pain, address those issues promptly rather than ignoring them. Sometimes all it takes is a simple adjustment in the way you lift objects or a minor tweak to your posture. Staying proactive helps ensure you don't develop a chronic problem that erodes your functional abilities. By listening to your body and honoring its limits, you can often continue living the active lifestyle you value. At the end of the day, the idea that if you're 65 plus and still do this alone, you'll live to 100, isn't about one single magic trick. It's about the holistic effect that many small, consistent choices can have on your well-being. Physical independence acts as a kind of health multiplier. It fosters stronger muscles, better cardiovascular health, sturdier bones, superior balance, and a more resilient mind. Each of these aspects works together to form a sturdy foundation for longevity. You might be folding clothes or walking across the street, but on a deeper level, you're training your body and mind to remain resilient in the face of aging. And resilience is everything when it comes to reaching that glorious triple-digit birthday in a state of vitality rather than frailty. That's why it's worth celebrating if you're still taking on those tasks by yourself. Instead of viewing them as chores, consider them daily victories, little routines that keep you thriving. In the broader scope of aging research, physical independence stands out as a surprisingly powerful tool, and the best part is that it's within your control. You don't need fancy equipment, you don't need to move mountains, and you certainly don't have to be an athlete. You just have to keep doing what you can, safely and consistently. By integrating this mindset into your daily life, you can potentially unlock years, maybe even decades of greater well-being. That wraps up our deep dive into the physical side of independence. Next, we'll shift to another dimension that's just as crucial for living a long, satisfying life: the emotional and mental factors that tie into handling tasks on your own after 65. Because let's face it, your body is important, but your mindset can be the deciding factor that keeps you going strong, even when the occasional ache or pain pops up. Stay with us as we explore how independence can empower your mind, your spirit, and your sense of purpose in the years to come. In this next segment, we'll look at how self-sufficiency contributes to your psychological well-being, how that ties directly into your overall longevity, and what actionable steps you can take right now to sustain that feeling of confidence in your daily routine. If you think your mindset doesn't matter, you might be in for a pleasant surprise. By the time we're done, you'll see how these physical and mental elements intertwine to form a truly holistic picture of aging well. Stick around, because the choices you make today can lay the groundwork for a vibrant tomorrow. Now, let's continue by diving headfirst into the emotional side of the story. It's not enough to keep your body in shape, you've also got to keep your mind energized and optimistic. That journey starts with understanding the link between independence and emotional health, and how, together, they form one of the key building blocks to a longer, happier life. In this next portion, we'll take a closer look at how the very same tasks that keep you physically fit can also keep you mentally sharp. You'll discover how completing things on your own gives you a sense of accomplishment that boosts your morale, why that morale is essential for warding off common mental struggles later in life, and the best ways to nurture a sense of self-reliance, even if you've recently faced setbacks. Whether you're already brimming with confidence or feeling a bit uncertain about your abilities, this discussion should shed new light on what's possible for you at 65 and beyond. If you're all set, let's begin our exploration of how independence fuels emotional well-being. You've already seen how the body benefits. Now you'll discover the secret of how the mind and emotions align with your physical side to create a lasting roadmap to better longevity. In this segment, we're going to tackle the second key piece of the puzzle, the mental and emotional aspects of staying independent as you age. If you're feeling ready for that, then let's keep moving forward. Let's start with a simple statement. How you think and feel about your own abilities can often be the difference between thriving and merely surviving. When you wake up and know you can still tackle certain tasks alone, that knowledge quietly uplifts your self-esteem, strengthens your resolve, and gives you a sense of purpose. We'll be digging into all those angles right here, so stay tuned and get comfortable. It's time to see how independence isn't just a matter of muscles and bones, but also a cornerstone for a joyful, meaningful life after 65. In this next part, we're going to examine how self-sufficiency plays into your emotional health, your cognitive clarity, and even your willingness to keep pushing forward in the face of life's inevitable challenges. Many seniors find that once their confidence gets shaken, maybe by a minor fall or an illness, they start relying more on others, which in turn accelerates a loss of independence. We want to flip that script by revealing how a strong mindset can help you bounce back, adapt, and remain an active participant in your own life story. It begins with something psychologists call self-efficacy, the belief that you have the power to influence your circumstances. Every time you complete a task independently, whether it's making your bed, tidying your kitchen, or setting up a video call to chat with loved ones, you reinforce that sense of personal capability. These regular doses of achievement accumulate in your mind, boosting resilience. Resilience is critical because life doesn't always move in a straight line, especially as we get older. There may be setbacks, like arthritis flare-ups, or days when you feel fatigued, but a resilient mindset reminds you that you can find solutions. Maybe you pick a gentler way to complete the same job or spread it out over several shorter sessions. The point is, you stay engaged, you stay adaptable, and you don't surrender your autonomy at the first sign of difficulty. There's also a direct link between emotional well-being and how willing you are to remain physically active. When you feel good mentally, you're more likely to keep moving, which of course has a positive ripple effect on your body. On the flip side, if you start feeling down or discouraged, it becomes tempting to let others handle things for you. That might offer short-term relief, but over the long haul, it can undermine your health in ways that are hard to reverse. By continuing to do tasks yourself, you're essentially giving your mind a little pep talk that says, "I'm still capable, I still have value, and I'm not ready to give up this control." That message, repeated over and over, has a profound influence on mood and outlook. You may have heard the term purposeful living. Having a purpose or direction is often cited as one of the big factors in exceptional longevity. While purpose can be as grand as wanting to write a book or travel the world, it can also be found in everyday responsibilities. Maybe you take pride in maintaining a neat living space or enjoy cooking nutritious meals for yourself. These might seem like small things, but they can imbue your day with structure and motivation. After all, purpose doesn't always come in the form of large-scale goals. Often, it's the daily rhythm of doing what matters to you that provides a sense of grounding and optimism. And as you stay engaged, you're not just preserving your routines, you're nourishing your spirit. Another aspect to consider is how your emotional state influences those around you. If you show up every day with a can-do attitude and demonstrate that you're handling tasks independently, you encourage friends and family members to treat you as someone who's still vibrant, capable, and full of life. That in turn can create a more positive support network. People see you as active and involved, and they're more likely to include you in gatherings, trips, or group activities. Maintaining a social life is vital for mental health, and being perceived as independent can keep you right in the heart of community events. It also helps avoid the scenario where well-meaning loved ones hover too closely or take over responsibilities you'd prefer to manage. Setting the tone in your relationships is crucial if you want to keep your autonomy. Scientists also note that intellectual stimulation is boosted when you do things on your own, even if those things seem mundane. Figuring out a new recipe, reorganizing a closet, or learning a simple gardening technique all involve problem-solving. That mental effort stimulates pathways in your brain, potentially safeguarding against age cognitive decline. The more you engage your mind in small tasks, the sharper those neural connections remain. While this isn't a guarantee against conditions like dementia, it certainly stacks the deck in your favor. Brain plasticity doesn't end at 65. It continues throughout life, and every bit of engagement can help protect your cognitive functions. Emotionally, handling tasks alone can also be a buffer against feelings of helplessness. Many seniors report that relying on others for basic needs sparks frustration, guilt, or sadness. This can spiral into low self-worth or even depression. By contrast, each time you successfully do something independently, you chip away at those negative feelings, reinforcing a more positive self-image. This inner confidence can spill over into other areas of life. Maybe you feel brave enough to join a local club, volunteer for a cause you believe in, or reconnect with an old friend. Those steps, in turn, build even more emotional well-being, creating a virtuous cycle. That sense of self-reliance often extends to how you approach challenges beyond physical tasks, too. Perhaps you're facing a financial decision, a health concern, or a relationship matter with a loved one. If you consistently reinforce the mindset, "I can handle things," you're more apt to research options, ask informed questions, and make decisions that reflect your own values. This fosters an overarching sense of control over your life, something that studies repeatedly link to healthier aging. People who believe they have agency over their choices are more inclined to adopt beneficial habits, from exercise to diet to regular medical checkups. At the same time, emotional resilience is not about stubbornly refusing help when you genuinely need it. It's about self-awareness, knowing your capabilities and limitations. If you recognize that you're strong enough to tackle a particular chore or routine, go for it. If you feel an ache or sense that something is beyond your comfort zone, you can modify or ask for assistance without losing your core sense of autonomy. The difference here is intention. You're not reflexively giving up your independence. You're strategically adapting to ensure you can keep doing as much as possible on your own terms. This mindset fosters collaboration with caregivers or family members, rather than dependency. You might also find that maintaining independence in daily tasks makes you more open to trying new things. Feeling capable in one area can spill into others, prompting you to sign up for a low-impact dance class at the community center, or explore a hobby that requires some manual effort, like painting or light woodworking. These activities can keep your mind vibrant and your body in motion, while adding joy to your day. As you accumulate these positive experiences, you start to see aging not as a slow decline, but as a phase of life that still holds excitement, creativity, and connection. If you ever doubt the power of a confident mindset, think about a time in your life when you surprised yourself by learning a skill later than expected or overcoming a hurdle you once thought was insurmountable. Those victories shape your identity and remind you that growth never stops unless you decide it should. By doing daily tasks on your own, you're essentially recreating those small victories each day. Over time, they build up into a formidable foundation of self-belief that can carry you through tougher moments. The sense of ownership over your life that emerges from this approach isn't just an emotional luxury. It's a literal contributor to longevity. It's worth noting, too, that maintaining emotional health through independence can have a measurable impact on immune function. Stress and negative emotions have been linked to decreased immunity, while positive emotions and feelings of control are associated with better immune responses. So that little rush of pride you feel when you manage something by yourself could be quietly fortifying your body's defenses against common illnesses. While you'll still want to follow practical health guidelines like washing your hands regularly and getting medical checkups, don't underestimate the role your mindset plays in keeping you healthy. Ultimately, emotional independence and physical independence are two sides of the same coin. They reinforce each other in a loop that benefits your entire well-being. By handling tasks on your own, you stay physically active, which supports your emotional health, which in turn inspires you to remain physically active. This virtuous cycle can be one of your strongest assets in pursuing longevity. It's not about denying the realities of aging or never asking for help. It's about staying engaged, curious, and willing to challenge yourself. As we near the end of this discussion, think back to the times in your life when a small win boosted your mood for days. That effect doesn't have to fade just because your hair has turned silver. Every chore you complete, every bit of household upkeep you manage, every personal errand you run. These are opportunities to remind yourself that you are still vibrant, still capable, and still very much in control. In the next section, we'll connect these emotional insights with practical methods to help you maintain and even enhance your independence, giving you the best possible shot at a long and fulfilling life. If you're ready to translate this philosophy into real actions, stick around, because we'll be delving into specific strategies and habit-building techniques you can adopt right now. Don't worry if you're dealing with a few aches, pains, or health conditions. There are always ways to modify tasks and set yourself up for success. The aim is to keep you going strong physically and emotionally for as many years as you desire. By staying proactive, you'll not only safeguard your independence, you'll also show others, friends, family, or neighbors, that aging can be a powerful, life-affirming journey rather than a slow wave of decline. In the coming segment, we'll offer a practical roadmap, simple steps and ideas you can implement, whether you're already quite active or just beginning to reclaim control over your daily routines. Each approach is designed to respect your limits while still nudging you toward progress. So stay tuned, because the journey to 100 doesn't happen by accident. It happens one day, one choice, one simple act of self-sufficiency at a time. Now let's shift our focus to some concrete examples of how these principles play out in real life. While research and theories can be enlightening, there's something uniquely powerful about seeing someone else walk the path you're trying to travel. In this section, we'll explore stories of older adults who've embraced daily independence as a way of life, even when it might have been easier to let others step in. These individuals could have chosen to relinquish certain chores or responsibilities, especially when faced with aches, pains, or overall fatigue. Instead, they found careful, balanced methods to keep their bodies and minds engaged, reinforcing the idea that age alone doesn't have to dictate reliance on outside help. One compelling example is a man named Carlos, who noticed mild osteoarthritis in his knees shortly after turning 70. His doctor advised him to pace himself and consider avoiding activities that cause stress on his joints, but also stressed the importance of ongoing movement to preserve joint health. Rather than stop his weekly grocery runs, Carlos decided to split his shopping into 2 shorter outings. That small change reduced the strain on his knees and turned what used to be one long day of shopping into 2 more manageable trips. Over time, he discovered that his stamina remained higher than many of his peers, and his knee pain stayed fairly controlled. He still had to watch his limits, of course, but by adapting the chore instead of handing it off to someone else, Carlos got consistent, beneficial exercise that supported his cardiovascular health, bone density, and sense of self-reliance. He says it also preserved a small but important part of his identity, choosing his own groceries and making decisions about what he cooks each week. Another example is Lucille, who at 82 still insists on cleaning her own kitchen. She's cautious, mindful not to climb on anything too high or overextend her arms, but she's deliberate about wiping counters, rinsing dishes, and even sweeping the floor. These motions require her shoulders, arms, and back to work in coordination, effectively creating a gentle strength training routine several times a week. She could easily ask family members or a home cleaning service to step in, yet she values the feeling of normalcy and pride that comes from doing it herself. She admits there are days when her back feels a little tight, but she simply rests or modifies her movements rather than giving up entirely. For Lucille, there's a psychological aspect too. The simple act of maintaining a clean kitchen reminds her of who she's always been, someone who takes care of her surroundings. This continuity with her past gives her emotional comfort and helps her stay grounded in a changing world. We see a similar spirit in James and Harriet, a couple in their late 60s, who both lost their spouses within a few years of each other. They became friends through a community cooking class, eventually developing a charming ritual. Each of them cooks dinner in their own home at least twice a week. Then they share photos of their meals or hop on a video call while they chop vegetables and prepare sauces. And sometimes they experiment with recipes they find online, other times they recreate nostalgic favorites from childhood. Through this shared interest, they maintain a sense of purpose and excitement about the day. Even though each meal might only take an hour or so to prepare, it requires standing, bending, stirring, and washing dishes afterward. They've both noted that these everyday motions keep their wrists and shoulders from stiffening, and they love comparing which spices or techniques worked best. Rather than viewing meal prep as a burden, James and Harriet treat it as a small adventure, one that enhances both their physical vitality and their social connection. These stories underscore the broader theme of adaptation rather than giving up. Aging often demands we alter how we approach tasks, but it doesn't have to mean we abandon them entirely. Carlos split his shopping trips, Lucille employs caution and pacing while cleaning, and James and Harriet turn cooking into a fun challenge. By embracing modifications, they each tap into the physical and emotional benefits of self-sufficiency. Experts in gerontology sometimes refer to this as adaptive independence, recognizing that some tasks need to be tweaked while still preserving the core activity so the person remains engaged. It's a far cry from the all-or-nothing mentality that causes many seniors to step away from chores at the first sign of discomfort. These examples also highlight the steady boost in self-confidence that comes from tackling tasks on your own. Each time someone like Lucille finishes cleaning her counters or Carlos completes his shorter shopping runs, they prove to themselves that they're still capable. This self-reinforcement matters because it shapes how they view future challenges, both physical and mental. Multiple studies suggest that seniors who maintain such a solution-oriented outlook experience less depression and a slower cognitive decline, as they're consistently reminding their brains that obstacles can be managed or worked around. Small successes accumulate, contributing to an upward spiral of resilience. And it's inspiring to see how simple daily chores, rather than intense fitness regimens, can keep a person mentally and physically fit well into their later decades. Of course, not everyone's journey is straightforward. Consider Farah, age 78, who underwent a hip replacement. For a period, she had to rely on her daughter for cooking, shopping, and cleaning. As soon as her physical therapist cleared her for light activity, however, Farah began taking small but deliberate steps to reclaim those chores. She started by walking to her mailbox and back, using a cane initially, then phased out the cane as her confidence grew. Gradually, she resumed cooking in short bursts, resting on a sturdy stool whenever her hip felt tired. Her daughter worried she was pushing it too soon, but Farah insisted on maintaining that sense of ownership over her daily life. Within 6 months, she was doing most of her routines again, and her recovery was ahead of schedule compared to many peers with similar surgeries. This example underscores how a measured reintroduction of tasks can be a form of rehabilitation in itself, both physically and psychologically. Stories like these also highlight the importance of a supportive network that respects a senior's desire for independence. It's one thing to tell someone they should keep doing their own tasks. It's another to have family and friends who stand by and let them try, stepping in only when truly necessary. In Farah's case, her daughter learned to offer help as an option, not a default. If Farah really needed it, it was there, but the decision remained Farah's. That respectful dynamic preserved Farah's agency, which studies link to higher life satisfaction and better health outcomes. The message is clear. The willingness to step back and let an older adult tackle tasks at their own pace can be just as crucial as the older adult's willingness to try. These real-life snapshots also acknowledge that independence doesn't imply a life free from pain or obstacles. Lucille has her occasional backaches, James and Harriet sometimes find themselves too tired to cook every night, and Carlos's knees can flare up if he overdoes it. The distinguishing factor is that they treat these hiccups as signals to adapt, not reasons to surrender. Often, they'll rest for a day, or employ a different method, or break a task into chunks. That mindset helps them maintain a baseline of activity rather than entering a cycle of reduced mobility that can quickly spiral downward. It's not just about the individual's sense of well-being either. The ripple effects extend to social connections, emotional health, and even medical costs. Studies show that seniors who remain active in daily tasks tend to have fewer hospital visits, require fewer prescription medications, and often have stronger ties with their community. When neighbors see you out and about, they're more likely to strike up a conversation. When family sees that you're still preparing meals or tidying your home, they may feel inspired to invite you places or share in activities that require a bit of physical movement. Independence can foster inclusivity, keeping you in the loop and preventing the isolation that sometimes creeps in during the later stages of life. For anyone thinking, that's great for them, but I have more substantial limitations, it's essential to remember that independence exists on a spectrum. Maybe you need a walker for stability, or you rely on someone to drive you to the store. That doesn't mean you have to forfeit every opportunity for self-reliance. Perhaps you can still wash smaller loads of dishes, fold laundry while seated, or pot some plants if gardening was once your passion. The principle remains the same. Find the level at which you can safely participate and remain active, then push just slightly beyond your comfort zone as you gain confidence. Even incremental efforts can add up to a significant improvement in quality of life. And if you're worried about making mistakes, most communities have resources, from occupational therapists to senior activity groups, that can guide you in adapting tasks. Some of the most inspiring accounts come from seniors who rally together in small community groups, tackling projects that benefit not just themselves but the wider neighborhood. Imagine an informal meetup where older adults gather to assemble care packages for charity, or to sew blankets for a local shelter, each person contributing what they can. These aren't high-intensity physical efforts, yet they require fine motor skills, encourage social interaction, and reinforce the idea that you can be productive at any age. Many participants describe feeling a renewed sense of purpose, a reason to look forward to each gathering. The communal aspect also offers a safety net. If someone has a sudden ache or cramp, a friend is right there to step in or offer a break. These real-world examples illuminate the multitude of pathways to maintaining independence. There isn't just one correct way to do it. The common thread is a willingness to remain as active and self-reliant as circumstances allow, combined with a flexible approach that accommodates the body's changing needs. When seniors adopt this perspective, daily tasks transition from mere chores to opportunities for physical exercise, mental stimulation, and emotional growth. In essence, they weave independence into the fabric of everyday life, and that practice can greatly enhance their chances of living a long and fulfilling existence. With these stories fresh in mind, it's a good moment to ask yourself which lessons resonate with you. Are you inspired by the idea of tweaking tasks, like Carlos's shorter shopping trips, to better suit your limits? Do you see yourself in Lucille's determination to keep her environment tidy, or Farah's methodical approach to post-surgery recovery? Maybe you're drawn to the social angle of James and Harriet's cooking rituals. Whichever story speaks to you, it holds a valuable clue about how you might incorporate similar strategies into your routine. If you're unsure where to begin, consider asking friends or family for small, specific ways you can reclaim or maintain certain tasks. Explain that you're not aiming to overdo it, but to keep your body engaged and your mind sharp. Most people will be supportive once they understand the purpose. Next, we'll delve into practical methods and habit-building techniques you can implement to preserve or even enhance your independence. We'll look at possible stumbling blocks, from chronic health issues to limited social support, and outline strategies to overcome them step by step. By merging the insights from research with the inspiration drawn from real-life examples, you can create a personal blueprint for healthy, vibrant aging. Ultimately, it's about recognizing that each small act of independence adds up, forming a robust defense against the physical and mental declines that are commonly, but not inevitably, associated with later life. So take a moment to imagine what your own story of independence could look like. Maybe it involves simplifying your household chores into bite-sized activities, or finding a group of peers who share a passion for cooking or crafting. Perhaps it means learning to rest when needed, but never fully stepping away from tasks that bring meaning to your day. As we move into the next section, keep these possibilities in mind. They'll serve as the groundwork for the practical suggestions to come, helping you map out a plan that feels both realistic and empowering. With the right mindset and a willingness to adapt, you might just find that the golden years can still sparkle with energy, accomplishment, and genuine joy. In the upcoming part of our discussion, we'll turn our attention to concrete, actionable tips that can help you maintain this kind of independence for as long as possible. We'll talk about how to evaluate your current limits, how to set achievable goals, and how to gradually incorporate more movement and mental engagement into your daily life. Even if you've been fairly sedentary until now, we'll also address ways to communicate your intentions to family or caregivers so they understand that your desire for independence isn't about being stubborn, but about actively safeguarding your health and sense of self. If you're curious about how to take the inspiration from these stories and turn it into a lasting habit, stay tuned. We're about to map out a path that could transform the way you live out your days, months, and years. As we move forward, keep the real-life examples of Carlos, Lucille, James, Harriet, and Farah in mind. They serve as proof that, with the right perspective and a little creativity, staying independent can be woven into everyday life, no matter your starting point. Now, let's explore how to create a personalized action plan for yourself, ensuring that you too can enjoy the rewards of self-sufficiency well into your 70s, 80s, and beyond. When you're ready, let's talk strategies, techniques for safe exercise, mental stimulation, and social support that help you cling firmly to those daily tasks that keep your body engaged and your spirit nourished. By embracing these practical steps, you'll be positioning yourself to join the ranks of those thriving seniors who aren't just growing older, but growing stronger, wiser, and more in control with each passing year. Now that we've explored real-life stories of independence, let's map out how you can adopt a similar lifestyle. In the following section, we'll dive into the nitty-gritty of developing daily routines, strengthening exercises, and communication tips that ensure you get the help you need without sacrificing your autonomy. The result could very well be a longer, more rewarding life, one where you wake up feeling a renewed sense of purpose, knowing that your actions today are actively shaping the bright, healthy future you deserve. If you're ready to explore these strategies, let's continue. Whether you've already tried some form of adaptive independence, or you're just now realizing it might be the key to feeling your best, there's something here for everyone. Let's move forward and discover how to transform hope and inspiration into tangible, lasting habits that support your journey toward a fulfilling life at 65, 75, 85, and beyond. Now, turning to the practical side, we'll delve into specific techniques for strengthening your body, engaging your mind, and nurturing a community that respects your wish to stay active. The goal is to provide you with actionable steps that, when repeated and refined, create an unbreakable chain of self-sufficiency. So let's begin that deep dive and set the stage for a healthier, more independent you, one day at a time. The first step in creating a plan is often the hardest, figuring out where you currently stand and what you'd like to achieve. Are you trying to regain a lost capability, or simply maintain the routines you already have? Answering that question honestly will help you tailor the strategies to fit your unique situation. But don't worry, we'll guide you through it. By the end of this next segment, you'll have a clear framework for tackling the obstacles in your path and celebrating each milestone you reach. So let's roll up our sleeves and get to work on building your personalized roadmap to independence. As you read on, keep in mind that every bit of effort counts. No task is too small, and no triumph is too trivial. This is your life, and the ways you stay engaged, whether it's through cooking, light exercise, household chores, or creative pursuits, are the threads that weave together a long, fulfilling existence. Let's discover how to keep those threads strong and vibrant for many years to come. Moving into a more hands-on approach, we'll cover everything from simple exercises that can be done right in your living room to communication tactics that help friends or family understand your needs and boundaries. By blending these elements, physical activity, mental engagement, emotional awareness, and supportive relationships, you'll create a balanced environment that nurtures continued independence. If that sounds good to you, read on, because we're about to get practical. In the following section, you'll learn how to do more than just survive your later decades. You'll learn how to truly live them, with a sense of purpose that lights you up and a physical regimen that keeps you capable. Ready to dive in? Great. Let's move forward and discover what these next steps toward independence could look like in your daily life, and how you can tailor them to meet your personal goals. Now we arrive at the heart of the matter: actionable tips, daily routines, and habit-building strategies that you can implement starting today. With the real-life stories and underlying science in mind, it's time to translate inspiration into practice. After all, knowledge is power, but only if you use it. Let's figure out how. The next part of our journey will guide you through step-by-step approaches for regaining or maintaining independence, no matter your current health status. We'll also touch on how to rally support from those around you without giving up your sense of autonomy. By the end, you'll see that growing older doesn't have to mean stepping aside. It can mean stepping forward with renewed confidence, armed with the skills and mindset to keep writing your story on your own terms. Here then is a deeper look at the practical side of staying independent, complete with ideas you can adapt to your own life. The essence of a strong independence plan lies in starting exactly where you are and moving forward from there. You may have days when everything feels easy and other days when your muscles or joints complain loudly. But what matters is a steady overall direction. By creating small daily routines and building them into habits, you give your body and mind consistent reminders that they still need to operate well. Begin by taking note of which tasks you already handle without help. Maybe you can easily prepare your morning coffee, feed the pets, or tend a few plants on your windowsill. Even these tiny chores can be turned into daily rituals that keep you physically engaged. When you reach for the coffee mug or the pet food, pay attention to your posture, the bend in your knees, and how you distribute your weight from one foot to the other. This mindfulness helps you execute the movement safely while also reinforcing core muscle strength and balance. In short, you're transforming a normal routine into a brief exercise session. Some people find that using a simple timer on their phone or a clock in the kitchen helps them stay consistent. If you know you like to have coffee at 7 a.m., set a reminder not just to brew it, but to consciously go through each motion. If you're feeling relatively strong and want to expand your current activities, consider gently challenging yourself with a bit more physical effort. For instance, if you already stand at your counter to chop vegetables, you might add in a few gentle calf raises before or after you finish. That move strengthens your lower legs and improves balance without requiring special equipment. The key is not to rush. If your body protests strongly, ease back or try again tomorrow. Incremental gains accumulate over time. If you're consistent, you may soon find that you can stay on your feet longer, bend more easily, or lift groceries with less strain on your arms and shoulders. Each small improvement leads to the next. Those who struggle with mobility issues can adapt movements to a seated position. Maybe you can't stand for long periods right now, but you could still sit in a sturdy chair and use a light resistance band to mimic everyday pulling or lifting motions. If you're washing dishes, consider placing a chair by the sink so you can sit for part of the task. The goal is to break free from total passivity, to get your muscles involved in whichever way works for you. Many therapists recommend a sit-to-stand exercise. Begin seated, scoot to the edge of the chair, and slowly rise to a standing position using your legs as much as possible. Lower yourself back down in a controlled manner. Even doing this 5 times in a row, once or twice a day, can strengthen the thighs and hips, making it easier to perform daily tasks independently. Over time, you might aim for more repetitions or try going from a slightly lower seat to increase the challenge. It's about finding that delicate balance between effort and overexertion. You might also weave everyday chores into a gentle circuit of sorts, turning your house or apartment into a functional fitness zone. For example, if you need to retrieve something from your bedroom, maybe walk an extra lap around the living room on the way back. If you're folding laundry, pause every few minutes to roll your shoulders or flex your ankles. These micro breaks combat stiffness and improve circulation. They also help maintain your focus, so you're not rushing and risking strain or injury. Think of your home as a place filled with opportunities to keep your body engaged. It may sound simple, but simple is often highly effective, especially when it comes to maintaining independence in your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Beyond your physical routine, another crucial aspect is engaging your mind. Activities that require planning or problem-solving, like cooking a complex recipe, reorganizing a closet, or scheduling your week, can help keep cognitive functions sharp. If you've ever felt your mind wandering while you passively watch TV, consider swapping some of that time for tasks that challenge your mental processes. It could be following a new recipe step by step, learning basic computer skills, or exploring a hobby like painting. The point is to stay mentally active and curious. Each time you stretch your brain, you reinforce neural pathways that might otherwise fade with disuse. This mental exercise can be as integral to long-term independence as keeping your muscles strong. The sharper your mind, the better you can navigate daily tasks safely and confidently. Many seniors also find it helpful to set small, achievable goals on a weekly or monthly basis. For instance, you might decide that this week you'll do your laundry without asking for help, or that you'll walk to your mailbox every day. If you accomplish that goal, reward yourself with something you enjoy, even if it's as simple as taking time to sit on the porch and appreciate the sunset. Then set a new goal for the next week, perhaps adding an extra 2 minutes of standing while you chop vegetables, or practicing a gentle stretching routine twice a day. By stacking these manageable goals, you create a sense of progress and momentum, which is an incredibly motivating force. Your journey to independence becomes a series of small triumphs rather than one big leap, making it more sustainable and more fun. If, on the other hand, you're at a stage where you've lost some independence and want to reclaim it, start by analyzing which tasks you truly miss doing yourself. Do you wish you could still prepare a favorite dish, sort your mail, or work in the garden? Identify those tasks and consider how you might approach them in a modified form. Could you use raised garden beds to avoid too much bending? Could you cook while seated? Is there a lightweight mail organizer that makes sorting letters easier on your wrists? This problem-solving approach transforms frustration into action. Rather than lamenting what's changed, you look for ways to restore at least part of the experience. Each successful adaptation brings you closer to feeling like your old self. Communication plays a big role in this process, especially if you live with family or have regular visits from caregivers. Sometimes those around you mean well, but end up doing too much, depriving you of chances to stay active. Gently explain that you appreciate their concern, but would like to try tasks on your own first. Let them know you value the sense of accomplishment and the health benefits that come from being hands-on. If you feel you might need assistance at some stage, you can always ask. But initiating tasks independently is your first choice. By setting these expectations, you help them see how important independence is for your overall wellness, so they don't rush in to save you at the first sign of effort. In moments when you do need help, focus on collaboration rather than passivity. For instance, if you're struggling to change the sheets on your bed, maybe a family member can lift the mattress corners while you tuck in the linens. You're still involved and active, but the more strenuous part is shared. This approach ensures that you retain a role in the task rather than having it done for you. Over time, you may discover little tricks or tools that make the job simpler, enabling you to do even more by yourself next time. It's a patient, evolving process, and each step cements your position as an active participant in your own life. Another crucial layer to address is your emotional health. We've already touched on how maintaining independence boosts self-esteem, but there's also the challenge of dealing with setbacks. Aging inevitably brings moments of physical frustration, whether from a persistent medical issue or a sudden flare-up of pain. During such times, it's easy to slip into a negative mindset that says, "This is too hard, maybe I should just stop." Recognize that those thoughts are normal, but also remember they can become self-fulfilling if you allow them to dominate. Instead, talk through your frustrations either with someone you trust or through writing them down in a journal. Acknowledge the difficulty, but also remind yourself of previous obstacles you overcame. Often, looking back at past challenges you handled successfully can give you the morale boost you need to keep pushing forward. Some seniors find group exercise or discussion classes beneficial, both for companionship and motivation. Attending a low-impact aerobics class or a gentle yoga session designed for older adults can provide structure and a sense of community. When you see others your age steadily improving, it reinforces the idea that you can too. These gatherings also offer an opportunity to swap practical tips, like which shoes help with balance, or which stretching routine helped with back pain. The social dimension can enhance your emotional resilience, making it more likely you'll stick to your new habits. If in-person groups are limited in your area, consider online options. Many classes and communities have shifted to virtual formats, where you can participate from home. The internet can be a powerful ally, connecting you with a support system no matter where you live. Beyond the specifics of exercise and daily chores, nutrition is another pillar that supports independence. While this video isn't solely about dietary guidance, it's worth noting that fueling your body with nutrient-dense foods can help maintain energy levels, muscle mass, and mental clarity. Simple changes, like incorporating more fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains, can yield tangible benefits, especially when paired with your increasing activity. If you're already cooking for yourself, you have the added advantage of controlling what goes into your meals. This can be a wonderful opportunity to experiment with herbs, spices, and healthy recipes, turning food prep into a creative outlet rather than a mundane task. Stay mindful, though, that healthy aging is more of a continuous journey than a final destination. There will be plateaus and days when you feel like you've hit a wall. Rather than viewing such days as failures, see them as part of the natural ebb and flow of life. If you're tired, do less, but try not to do nothing. Even small gestures, like walking a few steps around your kitchen or gently stretching your arms, are better than being entirely sedentary. The body craves movement, and even minimal movement is a statement that you're not giving up. Over time, your baseline of what you can handle may shift. Maybe you